The stench was the first sign, a gruesome calling card. It was a smell that lingered, a putrid reminder of the horrors that had taken place. The residents of Los Angeles were no strangers to crime, but this was different. This was something far more sinister, something that would haunt their dreams and turn their city into a landscape of fear. It clung to the air, thick and heavy, near the freeway. The once bustling roads now seemed eerie and desolate, as if the very essence of the city had been tainted. The fog that rolled in from the ocean only added to the sense of dread, wrapping the city in a suffocating embrace. Los Angeles, a city of dreams, was about to awaken to a nightmare. Over 20 bodies. The city that was known for its glitz and glamour, its Hollywood stars and sun-kissed beaches, was now the backdrop for a chilling tale of murder and mayhem. The skyline, once a symbol of hope and opportunity, now loomed ominously over a populace gripped by terror. All found discarded in trash bags. These weren't just any trash bags, they were the final resting places for the victims of a deranged mind. Each bag told a story of suffering and despair, a testament to the brutality that had befallen the city. The alleys and roadsides where they were found became grim landmarks, etched into the collective memory of the community. This was the horrifying legacy of Patrick Kearney, the monster they called the trash bag killer. His reign of terror left an indelible mark on the city, a scar that would take years to heal. The police worked tirelessly, their flashing lights and crime scene tape, a constant reminder of the danger that lurked in the shadows. Forensic teams combed through evidence, piecing together the macabre puzzle left behind by Kearney. Fear became a constant companion for the city's residents. The once vibrant streets were now deserted as people hurried home before nightfall, casting wary glances over their shoulders. The sense of community that had once defined Los Angeles was replaced by an atmosphere of suspicion and paranoia. Every stranger was a potential threat, every dark corner a hiding place for the unknown. The news whispered his name. Headlines screamed of the latest discoveries, each more gruesome than the last. Television broadcasts detailed the ongoing investigation, the faces of the victims a stark reminder of the human cost of Kearney's actions. The media frenzy only added to the sense of unease as the city waited with bated breath for the next development. Every shadow seemed to hold a sinister secret. The familiar streets and neighborhoods were now cloaked in an air of menace, as if the very fabric of the city had been altered. The darkness that fell each night brought with it a sense of foreboding, as if the shadows themselves were alive with the echoes of Kearney's crimes. No one knew who would be next. The uncertainty was the worst part, the not knowing when or where Kearney would strike again. Families huddled together, seeking solace in each other's company, but the fear remained. It was a fear that permeated every aspect of life in Los Angeles, a constant reminder of the fragility of safety and the ever-present threat of the unknown. Kearney was a phantom, a ghostly figure, who moved through the night with an eerie silence. He was a man who thrived in the darkness, where the shadows concealed his true nature. His presence was felt, but rarely seen. A whisper in the wind, a fleeting glimpse in the corner of your eye. Preying on those society often overlooked, he found his victims among the forgotten and the lost, the homeless, the destitute, those who had slipped through the cracks of society's safety nets. They were easy targets, invisible to most, but not to Kearney. He saw them clearly, their vulnerabilities laid bare before him. Young men, adrift and searching, became his targets. They were often runaways, fleeing from broken homes or troubled pasts, seeking a fresh start. They carried their lives in backpacks, their dreams in their eyes, and their hopes in their hearts. But in their quest for a new beginning, they crossed paths with Kearney. They were hitchhikers looking for a ride, a connection, a chance at a new life. With their thumbs outstretched and hopeful expressions, they stood by the roadside, waiting for a kind soul to offer them a lift. Little did they know, the ride they accepted would lead them into the clutches of a predator. They were runaways, escaping troubled pasts, hoping to find solace in the anonymity of the city. The bustling streets offered a sense of freedom, a chance to disappear and start anew. But in their quest for anonymity, They became easy prey for Kearney, who sought out their vulnerability with a predator's instinct. He saw their desperation, their need for kindness. In their eyes, he saw the pain of rejection, the longing for acceptance, and the hope for a better future. He knew how to exploit these emotions to present himself as the answer to their silent prayers. His charm was his weapon, his kindness a trap. He offered them a ride, a warm meal, a friendly face. To the weary travelers, he seemed like a guardian angel, a beacon of hope in their darkest hours. He would share stories, laugh with them, and make them feel safe. But behind the facade of kindness, his true intentions were far more sinister. It was all a cruel facade, a mask to hide the monster beneath. Kearney's true nature was that of a predator, a hunter who thrived on the suffering of others. His charm was a lure, his kindness a snare, and once his victims were ensnared, there was no escape. The shadows he hunted in concealed his darkness, but for those who fell into his trap, the nightmare was all too real. Kearney meticulously planned each encounter. He was a man of precision, calculating every move with an eerie calmness. His nights were spent prowling the streets, his mind always working, always scheming. He knew the city like the back of his hand, every alley, every shadowed corner. He was a predator in the urban jungle, always on the hunt. He cruised the streets, his eyes scanning for the vulnerable, the lost. The city was his hunting ground, and he knew exactly what he was looking for. He sought out those who were alone, those who seemed to have no one to turn to. His gaze was cold, calculating, as he assessed each potential victim. He was patient, willing to wait for the perfect opportunity. He would offer them a sense of safety, a moment of respite from their struggles. His demeanor was disarmingly kind, his smile warm and inviting. He knew how to put people at ease, how to make them feel like they could trust him. He was a master of manipulation, using his charm to lure his victims into his trap. They never saw the danger until it was too late. He would gain their trust, offering food, drink, and conversation. He knew that a simple act of kindness could go a long way. He would listen to their stories, nodding sympathetically, making them feel heard and understood. It was all part of his plan, a way to lower their defenses. He was a wolf in sheep's clothing, hiding his true intentions behind a facade of benevolence. He presented himself as a good Samaritan. Then he would strike. The moment they let their guard down, he would reveal his true nature. His smile would turn sinister, his eyes cold and devoid of empathy. He was a master of deception, able to switch from kind to cruel in an instant. His victims never stood a chance. He would drive them to secluded areas, far from prying eyes. These were places he had scouted out in advance, locations where he knew he wouldn't be disturbed. The isolation was part of his plan, ensuring that no one would hear their cries for help. He was meticulous in his preparations, leaving nothing to chance. These were places where screams would go unheard, lost in the vastness of the California landscape. The desolation was his ally, the emptiness a cocoon that swallowed sound. He thrived in these remote areas where he could carry out his dark deeds without fear of interruption. The night was his accomplice, the darkness his cover. His car became a mobile tomb, transporting his victims to their final destination. The vehicle was an extension of himself, a tool of his trade. Inside, it was a place of terror, a confined space where his victims' fates were sealed. The road was his domain, the car his weapon. In the end, there was no escape from the darkness he brought with him. The bodies began to surface in the most mundane of places: dumpsters, roadsides, abandoned lots, stuffed into trash bags, discarded like refuse. Each discovery sent shockwaves through the city. The details, gruesome and heartbreaking, painted a chilling picture of Kearney's brutality. The victims, often unidentified, became stark reminders of the killer's depravity. Their faces, forever frozen in terror, served as a haunting reminder of the city's vulnerability. Kearney was meticulous in his crimes. He disposed of the bodies with chilling efficiency. He would wrap them in plastic, sometimes dismembering them to make disposal easier. He took trophies, driver's licenses, wallets, mementos of his horrific deeds. He was a ghost, leaving little to no trace. His crimes were calculated, cold-blooded, and terrifyingly efficient. The city held its breath, waiting for the next grim discovery. But even ghosts make mistakes. A witness came forward, providing a crucial clue, a description of Kearney's car. The net began to tighten. The police were finally able to put a name to the monster who had terrorized their city. In 1977, the nightmare ended. Kearney, realizing he was cornered, surrendered to authorities. He confessed to his crimes, his words sending chills down the spines of even the most hardened detectives. Kearney's confession was a chilling window into the mind of a monster. He spoke of his crimes with a detached calmness, his words devoid of remorse. He described his methods, his victims, his chilling indifference to human life. He admitted to killing over 20 young men. He recounted the details of their deaths, his words painting a horrifying picture of their final moments. His confession was a testament to the darkness that can reside within the human heart. The trial of Patrick Kearney was a media sensation. The world watched in horror as the details of his crimes were revealed. The courtroom became a battleground of emotions, with families of the victims seeking justice and closure. In the end, Kearney was spared the death penalty. He struck a deal, pleading guilty to avoid execution. He was sentenced to multiple life sentences, destined to spend the rest of his days behind bars. Although the reign of the trash bag killer had ended, the scars he left on Los Angeles ran deep. The city, once a symbol of hope and opportunity, now bore the weight of his crimes. Families were shattered, their grief a constant reminder of their loss. The case of Patrick Kearney served as a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of the innocent and the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most vibrant city.